make that investment in the second grade. You make that investment in the third grade. You don't wait until they need government assistance. You don't wait until they need government assistance to run around and tout that you care about those people. But see, America purposely harmed the Negroes for 150 years. And then they compounded that by bringing in immigrants. But those persons, everybody want to look down on the Negroes, but it's all going to come to the light. It's all going to come to the light. And seeing as how, this is the last thing, seeing as how the Negroes have not got their justice, that the Negro ancestors' debt has not been paid, then everybody deserves to suffer. And that's what we're all going through. You see how that works? You see how simple that is? That everybody was happy when they were benefiting off of 246 years of Negro slavery. Everybody was happy. Everybody was happy with the opportunities they gave them, the loans that they got, the homes that they were able to buy, the education they were able to get, the job that they were able to get. But they didn't care about that debt. But they care now. They care now. They care because they losing their job. They care because they losing their precious DEI. They care because they losing their affirmative action. They care because they are threatened by all the funding that Donald Trump is taking away. But when you forget about the Negroes, then nobody get anything. See, it didn't have to be that way. It simply did not have to be that way. But it's that way now. But it didn't have to be that way. If the Democrats would have did right by the Negro vote, then we wouldn't have got to this place. If they would have fought equally as hard for the Negroes as they fought for immigrants, we wouldn't be here today. But we got here because of greed and corruption and evil. And folks feel entitled to benefit off of 246 years of Negro slavery. Folks feel entitled to benefit off of those 246 years that those Negroes went through. And that debt don't deserve to get paid. They don't care about that. They give it lip sync. Oh, I support reparation. No, you don't. I support reparation. No, you don't. Stop lying. Just stop lying about it. Now, everybody crying. Everybody crying and crying and crying and crying for the Democrats, crying for the Republicans, crying for the immigrants. But nobody is crying for the Negroes' ancestors who never got paid a penny. And their descendants are entitled to be repaired. Their descendants, the Negro descendants, are entitled to be repaired. And as much as I don't like freedmen, the freedmen are entitled to be repaired. And the Native Americans and the American Indians are entitled to be repaired. Now, y'all folks know how much I'm upset with a lot of freedmen persons, but my mother raised me to be truthful. The Negroes are entitled to be repaired, and the freedmen are entitled to be repaired because they were intertwined with the 5 civilized tribes, and they had their land and their money stolen, and they got records to back it up. And the Negroes have Special Field Order 15. That was a broken contract. And the Native Americans and the American Indians have treaties. There's all of this concrete proof that all of those Pacific groups have been skipped over, and all the focus has been on immigrants. Well, the day of reckoning has come. We got immigrants taken to the streets and setting fire and setting the flag on fire. But it didn't have to come to that. If Negroes had gotten a rightful place, maybe a lot of folks wouldn't have had to leave their nation. They would have been in political office to make sure that the policies that impact these nations negatively wouldn't have got passed. But if the Negroes had been repaired, they would have been holding political office at the local, state, and federal level that would have had maybe a different outcome, a different vote on how America destroys Jamaica, Haiti, the continent. But folks didn't care about the Negroes being repaired. They preferred to run with the narrative that America gave to them, that America is a land of immigrants. America is the land of milk and honey. So, well, this is what has gotten you for believing that. This is what all of us have gotten because you chose to believe that narrative and you chose to refuse to fight for the Negroes. Did. So this is how we got here. This is how we got here. Because every immigrant would tell you quickly, America is a nation of immigrants. America is the land of milk and honey. Well, here we are. Here we are. Folks are getting their cars broken into, their homes broken into. All of us are threatened for our safety. All of our safety is threatened because we don't have a clue how many enemy terrorists and sleeper cells have come across that border. But every politician have the ability to put good security around themselves 24 hours a day. But us average common citizens, we don't have that luxury to pay the cost to put enough security around us to protect us when we walk out our door, when we go to sleep in our home. We don't have that luxury. But folks still crying about those immigrants coming across that border. They don't give a darn about that. So all of our safety is being threatened. If you cannot protect your borders, you cannot protect your citizens. If you cannot protect your borders, you cannot protect your citizens. Let's put aside the money cost. Let's put aside the humanity part of it. Let's start at safety. I think that's something that all of us can make sense of. All of our safety is threatened. All of our safety is threatened, but men and women have to go off every single day to protect America. Men and women have to go off to fight for America and die. But American citizens are not safe. Make it make sense. Make it make sense for all you sorry human beings who cry for the immigrants. God's will is being done. Either the Negroes get their justice, or all of us will continue to suffer. Y'all got to make a choice. And America got to make a choice. And the president and the Congress and the Senate got to make a choice. sign Special Field Order 15 back into law, or continue to fight for America from the immigrants. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. My concern is for the Negro ancestors' debt and for the harm that I have suffered and the harm that my daughter has suffered and the harm that my community has suffered. That's my priority. And that's what continue to be my priority until I die. Because everyone has had an opportunity for the milk and honey. Everyone has had an opportunity for the milk and honey, but the Negroes and Native Americans and American Indians. So y'all sleep on that. Y'all sleep on that while y'all run around here and cry for the immigrants. That's it, folks. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for popping in. Stay alert. Stay alert at all times. And look out for one another. Put as much safety and protection around you and your loved ones at all times. I hope and pray that you are safe and out of harm's way. I trust that the Heavenly Father will watch over each one of us and make sure that we live our days the way it's meant to be. Thank you again, and take care. I'm closing out this broadcast and going back to testing 1, 2, 3. This is Who Did You Boycott Today? Thank you folks for popping in. This is a late night broadcast that I normally don't do a broadcast this late at night, but I let the devil, I'm always letting that devil tell me to pop into these Twitter spaces anonymous and gather my intel. I have to give a lot of thanks to the military for drilling me with all that reconnaissance mindset. I mean, it was just all of that good training I am finally putting into good use. It's just amazing. It's downright amazing that little did I know when I was 18 years old and chose the career of telecommunications that I will be doing broadcasts like this. That never crossed my mind, not one day when I was in the military. When I was going through all that training, and it was kind of intense sometimes, but I never really gave it a whole lot of thought, but can I pass it? You know, you got to go through all this training and you got to pass this and you got to pass that. And every time I was turning around, they were sending me back to school. And I couldn't stand school when I came out of school. So that really didn't set right with me too well. But every time I turned around, they were sending me back off to school again to learn another piece of equipment for telecommunications, because telecommunications is, like you can probably say, is kind of like the infantry and the backbone of the military. They got to have that telecommunications working all the time. All the time, they got to have that telecommunications working. So when I did all those good old assignments, I was just gathering intel. I was just gathering intel of the environment around me, and before I knew it, I was just programmed that way. I didn't even realize it was happening. I was just going from one assignment to the next assignment. And as I went to these new environments, they were completely foreign from the environment that I grew up in. Because I had to be blessed into this world. God blessed me into the world, and I spent the first 9 years of my life on earth growing up in the projects and looking around at my environment every single day. And it wasn't always a pleasant environment, but I think for the most part we loved each other. Even when we fought each other, we loved each other. I could feel that. Even being a kid, I could feel the love. I could see the pain in the person's face that I came outside and looked them in the face, and I could see the pain. And I'm sure they could see the pain on my face and my family. And then the day came when I was 9 years old, and my mother said, we're going to pack up and relocate. She's going to finally be able to get us out of that environment. She wanted that more than, I think, just about anything else. She wanted her 7 kids to be removed from that environment, and she worked for that, and she accomplished it. And I know when I look back over my life, that was a turning point. It was a major, major turning point, because my mother made a decision that if her 7 children was going to have a fighting chance to have a productive life, that she had to remove them from that environment. But I look back on that environment and realized it really made me tough. I didn't know it was making me tough at the time, but it did. Those first 9 years on earth is just critical. Those first 9 years that you're on earth breathing, and you know you're a human being, and God has blessed you into the world, and you're looking around, and you're not understanding everything that's going on around you. All you're trying to do is be a kid and enjoy yourself. Just enjoy being a kid. But I have looked back on many a days and realized just how much of a major impact those first 9 years had on my growth and my development. And I can't put it into words, but I certainly thank my mother, and I thank my brothers and sisters and my cousins and all the persons that I grew up with, that we kept putting one foot in front of the other. We just kept getting up day after day and putting one foot in front of the other. And some of us made it, and some of us did not make it. Quite a many of us did not make it. But having an opportunity to move to a different environment, don't change the fact of where you start your life at. Your whole environment plays a role in shaping who you are. Every year, that environment and those individual persons that are around you, they have a major impact in shaping who you will hopefully turn out to be. A person that you can be proud of. You're going to hopefully be proud of yourself when you get to that age, when you sit down and think about all the years and say, I'm quite proud of myself. I'm really quite proud of how I turned out. And I give a lot of thanks to those first 9 years, because I know I could not have made it without my mother, love and discipline and foundation. I could not have made it this long. And there's not a day that go by that I don't think about that. And it certainly played a major role when I went into the military, and that was a foreign environment. It was completely foreign because I had went from 9 years of growing up in the projects to the next 9 years of growing up in middle income. So I got a chance to experience 2 different environments, but each one played a major role in shaping me those first 18 years of my life. And then came the day I had to walk out into the world and join the military because I had already enlisted before I started the 12th grade in high school. So I knew I was going. I couldn't wait to go. I was ready to go get out there in the world on my own. And I wanted to be able to help my mother. So the military environment gave me another experience of a different environment. And being that I ended up choosing telecommunications as my career, my MOS, I just gradually started being programmed to gather intel. Just look around and gather intel and just sit back and observe and listen to what individuals are saying and what they're not saying. Figuring out how to read between the lines and making sure that you're listening very, very carefully, because you may miss something. So tonight, I popped into Re-Up Twitter space, and I wish to God that I had pushed that recording fast enough. I did not. I did not push it fast enough, and I'm quite sure that Re-Up is going to delete that recorded space tonight. But I did push recording. But the two persons that I heard come off the microphone, because I had put the phone off to the side, because I had not really planned on standing there that long. I had just planned to pop in and pop out. I had popped into a couple other pink Caucasian spaces and a couple other spaces, and I said, well, I'm getting ready to turn in. It's almost midnight, and I'm getting ready to turn in. I'm not going to sit up here and listen, because I'm tired, and my brain really cannot take Re-Up space. To be frankly honest with you, I just mentally cannot bear it. So I know every time I click the title, I'm not going to be there more than about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to be hitting leave. I already know that before I let the devil tell me to click on it. I already know it. I can almost time it to the T. Who did your boy got? You're not going to be in there more than about 5 or 10 minutes. That's about as much as you can stand. So that's why I didn't think about pushing record on my phone. And then before I knew it, I heard one person say something about they had rode the bus, and then the pink person voice said, I never rode a bus. Only poor and niggers ride buses. And I said, did I hear what I thought I heard? If I had I'm just so mad at myself. I am just so mad at myself. Because it just never dawned on me that just by someone saying they had rode the bus, that this pink person, this pink subpar human being, was going to come off the microphone and say what he said. Or I would have pushed the record a lot sooner. But I heard that part. I heard the person say, I rode the bus. Next thing I knew, I heard a pink person say only poor persons and niggers ride buses, and then it was somebody else who came, and I think that first person that spoke said, I'm getting ready to go to bed. And by the time I heard the words that I'm getting ready to click off and go to bed, I had already went to my other screen to start the recording. So by the time I got back to the screen, that person was gone. And then I tried to catch the second person come off the microphone, and I think I recognized the second person, but I cannot be for certain. But it was two pink subpar human beings' voices, and the second person also said the word nigger. So y'all persons are making a flat out case that you folks don't want liberation. You don't even want to be respected as a human being. And now, since Who Did You Boycott been doing her broadcast with her title about nigger and nigger, whichever one y'all want to choose to use, all of a sudden the narrative has changed. We don't mind folks calling us nigger, but y'all forgot something. Who Did You Boycott been on Twitter land since November of 2022. At the end of, I left fan base right around the end of the year of 2022 because I downloaded Clubhouse on the 5th of January 2022, and I stayed over there about 10 months or 6 months. I probably got my dates wrong, but I know I downloaded that Clubhouse app on the 5th of January. I never forget it. And by June, around June or July, I would say June, I left Clubhouse because folks didn't want to support Isaac Hayes on fan base. So I guess I did my little protest defect. I kind of just defected over to fan base in order to give my support for a melanated person with brown or dark brown skin, because folks don't have any problem supporting these pink, pale skin, subpar human beings platform. They just love them to death. They just love supporting their enemies' platforms, and then they get on them every single day and cry and complain about what they doing to them, what mistreatment they going through, what oppression they going through, what racism they going through, what discrimination they going through. But they flop right back to the enemy's platform every day that they can use their index finger and click on that icon. Who Did You Boycott today been preaching boycott since the 5th of February 2022. I started preaching it on Clubhouse. Then I went to fan base and preached it again. And then I came to Twitterland and started preaching it on Twitterland. So I've been preaching boycott since the 5th of February 2022. And it has fell on deaf ears. But y'all folks definitely caught wind of the boycott that Target went through. And y'all been trying to claim that you have started a boycott, these one-day boycotts or one-week boycott, but you won't boycott social media. You'll jump through hoops to avoid boycotting social media. But you will put out a promotion to boycott Amazon and Walmart, but you won't boycott social media. Now, what sense does that make? Really? What sense does that make compared to staying off of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Clubhouse and YouTube and TikTok for 30 consecutive days? Which one you think going to have the greatest impact? For all you intelligent human beings that want to avoid boycotting social media, but will get on a social media app and tell folks they need to not shop on one particular day. Don't shop on this day. We boycott that day. We're going to boycott. All of us are not going to shop on that day. And I seen the post where y'all had made about a JPEG for Amazon and Walmart. Y'all can't be that pitiful. Folks don't go to Walmart every day. But you go to social media every day. But you don't go to Amazon every day. You don't go shop at Walmart every day. But you get on social media every day. So common sense should tell you that boycotting social media is going to have a more immediate impact than targeting those other businesses. Don't that make common sense? Of course it does. But you folks got tired of me preaching. You got tired of me calling you out. So you say, we got to do something because we looking real pitiful and we looking very weak. So let's just do something and hope to God that will shut up who did you boycott. But y'all not fooling me. Y'all fooling yourself. Y'all not fooling me. Because I know you got tired of me preaching about it. You got tired of me putting it in my title. You see my community on my profile. You constantly hear me talking about it. And you just got tired of it. So you decided to try to fake the phone and do it halfway.